I'm not a YouTuber, I'm a musician.
What is this? I need her.
I don't really know why I'm here, but it's quarantine and I have literally nothing else to do because we're not allowed to perform, understandably. So a little bit of background on myself. I went to school to become an opera singer, and I do, on occasion, sing opera. But you know what's crazy is I never sang as a kid. I was not really a great musician as a kid. I would absolutely not call myself a prodigy or anything like that. And there's parts of me that wish that I was, but after having gone to school and worked with a lot of different kinds of artists, I can say that being a prodigy doesn't necessarily put you ahead of anybody else. And I can explain why. Being a prodigy allows you the chance to start really young and be exposed to a lot of different things from a very young age. But it doesn't necessarily teach you how to love art making. It can. Like, you can discover it at one point that you love art, and then you know, the rest is history. But there's also a lot to be said about people who organically find their love for art along the way, right? I didn't actually start singing until I was about 17 or 18, right before I went to college for singing. And I'll admit, that's a little unorthodox. I would wager that most of my colleagues and friends from college did study music when they were kids. And I played in an orchestra, so I play violin and viola, and that's actually where I started. But I was never a good violinist or violist. I sat at the back of the orchestra for a very long time, and that's fine. I did it because I liked it. You know, I genuinely enjoyed playing music, which I would argue a lot of people also experience, right? Like, most people, when they're in grade school and middle school and high school, probably play their instruments because they enjoy the social aspects or the trips, or are just looking for an escape, or even more so, at least in my case, they were looking for an outlet to create something good rather than be destructive with emotions that you don't quite know how to deal with yet. So on a side note, every school should have access to art making. The rest of it is history. I ended up going to school for music, and here I am in the middle of a pandemic, not allowed to make music in the traditional ways, so I'm trying to figure out new ways of doing it, YouTube being one of them. Hello. I was not a prodigy. All that to say, I didn't start doing music when I was a kid, and when I did start doing music, I was trash. I was trash. I was so bad. I was not inherently musical. In some ways, yes. I would say I had a musical ear and I liked doing it, so it helped me become a musician today. But I wasn't like that kid who always got all the solos and always sat first and blah, blah, blah. I was like always sitting last. I sat last every time until like sophomore year of high school. I think I didn't start getting good at violin until I was 16. But that's beside the point, because now I'm a vocalist. So. But yeah, it was really fun, and then I went to college and I didn't have any background in singing and I had no idea what I was doing. So there was a large chunk of time where I was so out of my depth. I was beyond stressed out because I just felt stupid. Like, I just felt so dumb. I didn't know what solfege was. I really didn't know anything about reading other clefs or understanding anything about chordal structuring. I didn't know figure bass, all of these things that are required for you to pass into university and out of university. So I struggled. I actually failed a couple classes. One of them in particular was called Aural Skills, A-U-R-A-L. Aural. I failed, flat out, point blank. It was great. I ended up retaking it and I passed, but it was really stressful and I didn't enjoy it. And working in music suddenly became something that I didn't like anymore. Because I had always done music because I liked it. That was like the theme, right? My theme was growing up, I enjoyed making music. That's why I did it even though I sucked. Now I was at a point where I was a pretty good singer, but a really crap musician for some reason. And I had to figure out what it was that I was doing wrong. While everybody around me seemed to understand. They had like this baseline understanding of what music is and how to do it. And yeah, I literally didn't even... I couldn't tell the difference between most composers. Still can't. But, you know, it was crazy. It was crazy. But I knew that I loved it. And that was the thing that separated me from a lot of other people. I had been told no many times. I had sat last many times. Most of my colleagues who were studying with me were really, really talented, even as kids. I just wanted it. Like, I just really, really wanted it. And I think that's what helped me make it through college and now have a career in music. I would really not say it's successful yet, but it is a career. It's a career. Whether other people want that kind of career or not is up for debate. I was struggling so much for so long, and I thought it was because I wasn't really good as a kid. I thought, well, you know, I'm never gonna be as good as so-and-so because they played Carnegie Hall when they were 8. I don't know. But in reality, that's not how it works. And I ended up singing with my colleague. I ended up singing with her at Carnegie Hall when I was 19. 2 years after I had literally no idea what I was doing. I just wanted it. Just wanted it. That's it. You know, I had a good voice, a good instrument, but I had no idea how to use it, not really, and I had no idea what the context was that I was using it in, right? So like music history, music theory, composition, all these things. I really didn't know anything about that. So I took a risk, and I'm really glad that I did, because I can't imagine having any other job. I love doing this. This is all I want to do. This is all I ever will do. And I've had so many people tell me I should just quit or find other work or do this or do it as a hobby. And what I think some people don't understand, not all people, but some people, is that this can't ever be a hobby. Not really. Like, I've had a taste of what it could be like to do this all the time. That's it. That's the only thing that's gonna make me happy. I'm always going to feel like any other job is just gonna be temporary. So I focus on being an artist and a musician because I love it. But that being said, I was not a prodigy, and I do not believe that anyone has to be a prodigy to be a professional. It's full stop. I think if you want to be a musician or a sculptor or a poet or a filmmaker or a video game designer, that you should just do it. Nobody's gonna give you the golden ticket, and nobody's gonna ensure that you're gonna succeed. There is no promise that you're ever gonna make enough money to pay your rent, or that you'll be wildly famous and successful. And if you're going in to do it for those reasons, then I would reevaluate if I were you, but not saying that that's not possible. That absolutely can be an outcome for you. But I'm not here for that. Let's just put it that way. I realized very early on that shouldn't be my driving force. And I think that's made me a lot happier. I'm still stressed about money, and I'm still stressed about this, that, and the other thing, but I'm happy doing it, if that makes sense. Yeah. Music can be extremely heartless, but it also can be the most human thing ever. I sleep well at night, being a musician. I don't know what my future looks like. There's a part of me that actually likes that a lot. There's a part of me that loves that I don't know what I'm doing, that I never will know what I'm doing. I love that. I love it, you know, and there's a part of me that also kind of hates it because it's stressful. It's stressful. But the part of me that loves it is significantly bigger than the part of me that hates it. To end this ridiculous video that doesn't need to exist, I would implore anyone who's interested in becoming a musician to reach out to a musician they know. If you want to ask me questions, please. I love talking about being a musician. I would love to help give people the opportunity to hear the word yes, because you're probably going to hear the word no a lot. And I became a teacher specifically so that I could be the yes sayer, because you need someone who does that. You just do. You need to have someone who encourages you and tells you yes, even when the world around you is telling you no and trying to stop you. So if you need a yes, like and subscribe and send me a message. That's how YouTubers do it, right? Well, I had fun, actually. This was kind of fun. So maybe I'll do it again.